You can go to colab.research.google.com to open Google Colab. It comes with a lot of examples that you can open, or you can even load files from your Google Drive, or open a link in a GitHub repository, or even upload your own local files. I'm going to open the Python tutorial example. This Python NumPy tutorial was adapted by me, but the original adaptation was from the CS231N course at Stanford. I'm going to start with the basics of how to use Google Colab for running your Python code and machine learning. There's a really good 3-minute video here that talks about what Google Colab is. If you want to upload a file to Google Colab, you can go to File and then Upload Notebook. This is where you can upload your own notebook. And after you have run your notebook and run your code, you have the output. You can actually go and file, save a copy in GitHub. So what this does is, if you have a GitHub repository, you can directly save your Google Colab notebook into your GitHub repository without having to download and upload to GitHub. And although Google Colab automatically saves your files, it is a good idea to frequently go file and save to make sure that your notebook is saved. And if you ever want to download your notebook, say for example to keep a copy for yourself or for offline access, you can go File and download IPYNB. Now remember, this IPYNB is a file that can only be opened by a notebook viewer. And Google Colab is a very interesting that it provides hardware accelerator as well. So if you go runtime and change runtime type, you can choose whether you want to run your program in Python 3 or Python 2. Python 2 is already not supported, so we will stick to Python 3. If you have a code that needs a lot of hardware resources, then you can switch to using GPU. So for trainings that need trainings that use convolutional neural networks or other more time-consuming trainings, you can always change the runtime type to GPU. And if your notebook has a lot of outputs and you want to start clear all the outputs, you can simply go to Edit and clear all outputs, and that clears all the outputs in your notebook. And sometimes it's helpful to see line numbers in your code cell. And if you don't see line numbers by default, then you can go to Tools and then Settings, and then you go to Editor, and there's a checkbox that shows you that you can check to see line numbers. And some of my students prefer dark mode. So to enable dark mode, you can go to Tools, and then it's I think Settings and Site, and you can choose your theme, whether you want light or dark. Now with dark mode, you have to be a little careful because some of the plots don't look very clear. The numbers in the plots don't look very clear. So if you're using dark mode, be careful with how your plots appear. Google Colab has two kinds of cells. You can create a new cell by clicking the plus code or plus text button. If you create a new cell by clicking the text button, this is a place where you can type text and change the text like HTML, but not a place where you run your code, for example, like this one. So all these, this cell up here and this cell, all of these are text cells. And if you actually want to run a code, then you need to create a code cell by clicking this button, which gives you a cell where you can actually type code to run. And for a really large notebook like this, which has a lot of content, if it is organized well, you can see the table of contents by going to View and Table of Contents. For instance, in this tutorial, we see that we have various topics that we will cover, and you can always enable and disable this table of contents. And if you would like to share your notebook with others, for others to watch, then what you do is you click on the share button, and and then you click on get shareable link. That gives you a link that you can share with others so that others can view. When you have this, make sure that you select anyone can view, and if you do anyone can edit, then anyone in the with the link can edit your code. But in order for others to access, you should at least have anyone with the link can view, and you can copy this link and share it with whoever you want. And also you can run multiple cells at a time. What this means is if I have two cells, first one here and second one here, I can run the first cell by clicking this play button, and then while it's running and I haven't seen the output yet, I can click the other play button. In this way I can click the play buttons for all the cells I want to run and then leave it to run, which means I can come back and hope that it'll give me all the results after I come back. In other words, you don't have to wait for the first cell to finish executing before you click to run the second cell. So if you have enabled, say for example, runtime as GPU, that means you can also view the GPU settings in Google Colab, and you can run Linux commands with the exclamation sign in front. For instance, right now I'm trying to check my GPU settings, and it failed because my runtime is not set to GPU. So if I change my runtime and ask it to give me a GPU hardware, then and then if I do NVIDIA SMI, then it'll give me a GPU, and I can see that the GPU I have is a Tesla T4 GPU. If you would like to upload files to Google Colab, say for example when doing machine learning, you may want to upload your own data set into Google Colab so that you can load the data set and so on. So to upload files, this is what you use. There are other options as well, but I find this easy. So you simply, and sometimes this gives this error, but it's not always. So you'll see a prompt like this where you can click choose files, and then you can choose the files you want to upload. And say for example after training, if you save a model, or if you have processed a file and cleaned a data set and you would like to download it, then this is how you download from google.colab, import files, and then files.download. So this will at this time this could throw error because we don't have example.csv. And just like in a Linux terminal, you can even download files to your Google Colab platform, your backend, your environment where you're running Google Colab, by using the wget sign. Say for example, right now I can use wget to download UMSL logo. And just like in Linux with the exclamation in front, you can do ls-l to list the files in the in your home directory. Right now we just downloaded umsl.png, and otherwise there is only this file in the in this environment. Similarly, if you want to install additional packages of Python that are not by default installed in your environment, you can always do pipe3 install and provide the package name to install the package that you want. So it's a extremely powerful and flexible environment to run Python code.